Alright, you guys, so welcome to JT Livestock Company. I am Tara Sanders and this is my office. So I get a lot of inbox messages every week from people that are new here, and it's kind of hard because there's a lot of change coming. And I'm really excited, but I also want to talk to you guys just a little bit about my future goals so that it's easier for people to understand what's coming in the future from here. Jacob and I have had to sit down and have a really long discussion about some of our future plans. And for the last year and a half, it's been almost 2 years, the horse industry has been really high. And the kill horse industry as a whole, the dynamics have changed. I see a lot of people post a lot of misinformation about the slaughter horse industry as a whole, to suit certain vendettas, or if you're anti-kill pen rehoming effort. I've never understood the philosophy behind being anti-kill pen rehoming effort, because at the end of the day, it's really none of our business how somebody else chooses to spend their money. And if you're the kind of person that says, well, I just want the uninformed to know, let people do their own homework. Like, I don't really care either way. But I see people say things a lot about the price of slaughter, or that there's contracts or quotas. And I can remember several years ago, horses were cheap enough that everybody could rail kill horses, and there were lots and lots of people fighting for the opportunity to get horses to the border, to get them passed. You had lots, hold on, my dog, where's Jack? Bear, shut the door if you're gonna open it. All right, everybody, I'm gonna take y'all with me to shut this door that my dog has opened. Get out, Ski. Look at what they just did. Anybody else have dogs in your life and you love them, but sometimes you just think they're almost as bad as toddlers? So, first and foremost, let me explain something about the kill horse industry. Horses are only worth so much a pound. That's it. And I have not spoke on this just out of respect for the industry as a whole, because there's still lots and lots and lots of places that don't have enough respect for their customer base to be honest about, like, this horse shouldn't have a ship date on it. I hope that you guys have noticed, especially in the last couple of years here at my facility, there's a big difference between the trading horses, and those horses, we bring them home, we float their teeth, we do their feet, we put a lot of time into them, and if they don't sell to you guys online, I just catalog them to catalog sales and do a good enough job that I can go represent those horses in person at a sale. I still see some kill pens that will say a $4,500, $5,500 horse, $3,500 horse has a ship date. And at the end of the day, a slaughter-bound horse is only worth so much money. And so I think that it does a disservice to all kill pens across the United States when people do things like that, because it makes us all look stupid. I watched a video last night on TikTok on somebody's opinion of kill pens, and it was hard to listen to, and I wanted to fight back. I wanted to get on there and I wanted to say, this isn't correct, but it is correct, because that is the way that many other places do it. Now, it might not be the way that we do it here, but because I'm just one place versus there being hundreds online, that is the way most of them do it. And so one thing that first and foremost that I'm not a big fan of and never have been is fundraising. I think that if somebody maybe is a repeat customer of mine and they have the availability to house a second horse, and they're already coming to pick one up, and a horse needs a home, there are certain situations to where I think fundraising to allow somebody to take a second horse that maybe they weren't quite prepared for, but they definitely can take great care of them. Or maybe a customer's bought 2 or 3 horses in the past. They have room. I have a horse here that really needs to be fundraised for, and I know that's a great home, and they don't mind giving it a home, but they probably wouldn't have purchased it. There are situations that fundraising has saved lives, and it's been a great thing. But I think fundraising in a mass scale for tons of horses going to strangers is why we see a lot of horses filtered over and over again through the kill pen. So There's lots of things that are said online that I'm not going to discredit those people's opinion or sit here and try to say, oh, that is not. No, there's a lot of problems with all industries. But what I can tell you is that our horses that have ship dates are horses that are, you know, $1,500 or under. If I can make some profit and sell it to the public, great. If not, you know, I can't afford to feed it long term. We've always allowed reprieves. A reprieve is where you as an individual can say, I really like that horse. It didn't sell in the time that you gave it. Let me pay for its upkeep for 10 days. And will you try for 10 additional days to rehome it? Yes, no problem. So I've had people not understand that there's multiple businesses run from one facility. I have my quarantine facility, it's its own business. Jacob does buy horses for slaughter, that's its own business. And then we have trading horses, and they're their own business. And sometimes it's frustrating when you have a $10,000 horse and people will say, I cannot believe this horse was for slaughter and that people threw him away. Ma'am, that horse costs $10,000. He is never going to probably ever in his life go to slaughter unless something catastrophic happens further down the line and whoever owned him at that point didn't respect him enough to give him a retirement. So, like, but some of the misinformation that I hear and see online that I think is important that I would love for you to share this video about is kill buyers have never had a quota. There is not somebody telling them, if you don't send me 150 horses, and the reason is because horses have gotten so expensive, nobody can meet the demand. So now a lot of the kill plants in Mexico have gone to killing horses at night and cattle during the day, or vice versa. And the reason they can't kill them simultaneously, like one, is because you have to change the blades and the machinery and wash it. I don't know how good it's done, and I know that they're starting to see a lot more horse meat in meat that's brought over from Mexico. So if you buy hamburger meat or any kind of meat from Mexico, just know that you can Google it, and the traces of horse meat found in beef products from Mexico is getting higher and higher and higher. And the reason that we're seeing more traces of horse meat in our beef in the U.S. is because during the Obama administration, we allowed beef to be imported back to the U.S. from Mexico, and there's not clear, concise labeling on such. So what's happening is people are trying to buy beef out of Mexico because it's much cheaper, because the slaughter plants that used to solely do horses can now not get enough horses. The numbers in slaughter horses are decreasing. And it's not the animal activists, it's the price of the horses. Horses are very, very high due to inflation, and the kill prices have not really risen. They've risen from 50 to 60, 60 to 70, now they're in the low 80s. You can send a good set of horses and get 82 to 85 cents a pound, and that is top dollar in Mexico. So that makes a 1,000-pound horse worth $850. And it makes like a 1,300-pound horse worth $11.25 maybe. Anyway, I'm quick on my feet with math, but not always accurate. Ballpark. So please remember that if a 1,300-pound horse is worth $1,100 to kill, if a 1,300-pound horse stands here, it needs to bring $1,500. And people say, why are they more expensive to the public than the plant? It's solely because you are buying one horse and not a group of horses, and the risk of you being complicated is going to be much higher when the plant is going to take them, pay for them, and never bitch and complain, and they just wire you your money and you just move on. Having to deal with the general public, there needs to be profit over slaughter price just to have the want to deal with the public. I can't convince Jacob to deal with the public day in and day out for the same amount of money that the plant would pay him, because the plant has never given any backlash. They've never tried to ruin our reputation. They've never drug us through the mud. They've never bought a horse from a kill pen that is not guaranteed and then gotten online and bitched and complained about how they were screwed over, even though they knew they bought the horse with no guarantee. So the plant just is unproblematic. They're just unproblematic. But at the end of the day, the biggest horses going to slaughter, $1,500. you know, I mean, that's a giant, and that's being generous. So knowing what the plant price kind of is and knowing where we sit there, I think that it's okay if you want to have kill horses you offer to the public. I think it's a commendable thing. It's something I've done for years. It's something that I have literally stood on the grass basis of all horses deserve the chance to be seen by the public before they ship to slaughter. So I will never, ever, ever bash any kill pen rehoming effort, no matter how unscrupulous. I just won't. I'm here for the horses. So if I like you, hate you, whatever, all of that's indifferent. What I do think, though, is that it is important for us to remember that lots of kill pens also are horse traders. And just because they rail kill horses, that doesn't make them not a horse trader. And just because they trade horses doesn't mean they have kill horses. And I think it does a disservice to say, oh, these horse traders that act as kill pens. They are horse traders that go to lots of auctions and end up with kill horses that they will ship to slaughter. And it's commendable that they offer them, and I think that that is something that we should just accept. Like, you don't have to like what somebody else does to just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Like, if they're over there doing the best that they can, leave it alone. And that's where I am in my life, is just leave it alone. I have more trouble with the general public that buys kill pen horses than I've ever had with the public that buys my trading horses. We do not see people online that have bought $5, $10, $15, $20, $30,000 horses from me being upset. We see people that bought a $1,500 horse or a $2,500 horse. That I'd say $3,500 and under is kind of more of the kill market. And when you get over $3,500, those are trading horses. My traders are here a little longer. We float their teeth. We pay for everything. So when you buy the horse, teeth floated, feet done, all of that's done. Today, the vet and farrier will both be here. They're doing 8 horses for me. There are 8 horses that came in that'll be a little bit more money. And people have said recently, if you don't buy those horses from her, they'll go out of business. Oh no, that's not true, because we just catalog them to catalog sales, and they bring more money at catalog sales than they do off my Facebook page. So I've been making, I had a horse for sale here for $8,500, and he brought $15,500 at public auction, and he could have been bought 45 days before that for half price. I had a horse here for $7,500, and he brought $10,000. I had Pepper, $7,500, he brought $10,000, and Pepper could have brought more. I had a lady that offered those people $12,500 to sell him, and of course Savannah doesn't want to, which is fantastic. I love that he's in a forever home, but her internet went out during her bidding, and she was willing to give them $2,500 profit for my horse that they bought from me because her internet went out. I sent horses to Navasota. They were on my page for $1,750 to $2,000. They averaged $4,000 at Navasota. So those horses are just good quality, sound, fundamentally solid horses that I can stand behind. When you send them to those public auctions, you have to offer a 5-day guarantee. I don't have to do that on Facebook, and people kind of know that what they get, what they see is what they get. Now, the lady that bought 2 of the 4 horses I sent to Navasota has called me and wants to buy the one I bought back, because she's so in love with the 2 that she bought that she is like, listen, these are the best horses I've ever owned. I was so leery of public auction. These horses are fantastic. So my life as a horse trader is changing. My life as a human being is changing. I have done a lot of soul searching. I've gone to therapy since I had COVID last year. I actively participate weekly on not only my mental health, bettering that. I've surrounded myself by better people. And I just am really on a journey myself that has nothing to do with horses. And I don't share that. I have my Tara Michelle Sanders Facebook page. I share the horses there. I talk a lot more about my spiritual journey and where I am as a human being. But this page is just for the horses. So you're not going to see a lot of these sit-down talks here, because this page is solely dedicated to the horses, which is such a great place for those of you who just want to see the horses. Like, it's so good for you to have a safe space where you can just see all of the horses that we have available. We are sitting down and starting to curate and discuss what kind of content we can make for this page that can be monetized, that you guys can see, that can put money in my pocket, to help grow my business, my establishment, and also pay my staff, but will offer you guys a lot of value. So I would love to see in the comments below what kind of content that's just horse related that you would like to see. I've seen people want feeding advice. How do I get them so shiny? What grooming products? Right now we're testing dozens of different grooming products that we purchased. Some people sent some stuff. And we kind of are just trying to decide like what we think's the best. And here's the great thing about not being sponsored is that, or not selling things at wholesale. Like, I see a lot of people that are sponsored by a company, and every horse in their barn is fed the same thing, and their grooming regimen for every horse is exactly the same because they're sponsored by companies. And at the end of the day, I honestly know that if my feed program was the exact same for every horse, and if my grooming regimen was the same, it wouldn't actually work for every horse in the barn. So I love having the freedom to be able to discuss with you guys openly, like what products from a company worked for my program, maybe what products didn't. It doesn't make the company bad. We just don't necessarily love those products the best. And it's nice to have that freedom and that honesty, because we all know that I've never been shy to be honest. One thing that I really have worked on for myself is just, I don't stay on social media. I snap. If you don't have me on Snapchat, it's Kill Pin Barbies. Jackie, Emma, Tylen all have Snap. Their snaps are more personal. Mine's very public. Of course, my snap's already being screen recorded and everything else and shared with people that don't like me, and that's fine. But I stay off of Facebook because I don't see those things unless somebody actively sends it to me directly, and then generally they actually reach Heather, not me. Hey, there was a box of water that's crazy water that was supposed to be in the mail. Did it come? Where is it? What? You guys know what it's for? Y'all didn't drink it, right? That's horrible. That's awful. That's not good. Can it make it to my car? Thank you. From now on, if it doesn't come with y'all's name, y'all just sit it in here. Who put it in the house?
I didn't get it on the steps, so I just set it in the house.
And then it made it. Okay, it needs to make it in my car. Yeah, that's a no. Okay, sorry. I have also wanted to address that a lot of people have nitpicked because on Snapchat, Jackie and I are super hard on each other. Please understand that Jackie and I, and she's standing here, are both very aggressive personalities, and we are both alpha females to the core. And one thing that Jackie and I both can tell you is that when you just talk to us in passing, it goes in one ear and out the other. Jackie often has to be like, Tara, I'm not kidding. And then I'm like, oh, what are we talking about? Because, and then I was...
Yeah, because we were together.
Okay, so what are we talking about? Why, you know, that made it, that, so we have a different communication, and it's one thing that I hate about live video, and I don't go live a lot anymore, is because about live is there's no, you can't edit or take back, and there are people out there that want everything and anything to be bad. They will take the conversation we just had and turn it into a, I cannot believe. And then I don't want to defend myself. And honestly, it's the one thing I hate the most about live video is I've been so comfortable on live video for so long. We will do anything or ashamed or shy. In fact, we do stuff all the time that's hilarious and we would love to share, and we just don't. We don't share anymore because at the end of the day, people on social media are absolutely insane. But we do snap. We snap quite a bit. My TikTok is right now, the sole focus of my TikTok is Hot Rod. So my TikTok, Hot Rod went viral, 500,000 views. The Horse Trader's Diary is my TikTok. The Horse Trader's Diary is the YouTube. That is here. Okay, so we need Coggins on all 4 of those. Okay. So there's 4 deuters. Yep.
And we just do Coggins?
Yes. And then all 4 of those, we need trimmed when he gets here. Okay. On the red one, ask her if she has any... or what if she, and ask her if, just ask her what she thinks we should do for this issue. Yeah, got it. Okay, there's a horse here that doesn't belong to us, and it's not that I give two shits that you guys know anything about the ones that belong to me, but this horse was just in passing, and it's nobody's business. It's not my place to, he's not mine. He wasn't mine from the get-go. A friend sold him to a friend, and he's here because he needs to see my vet. So,
Fair.
yeah, he doesn't care. Hey, do me a favor. Oh, she couldn't hear me. So things are just changing. A lot of our content is going to be pre-recorded and just put online. Not because we care. We'll still go live. We're actually going to do a lot of subscriber content. Jackie and I are going to go live 2 days a week. We have not decided what 2 days a week for subscribers only. So if you are in the Wild Tribe After Hours or in the Wild Tribe Daily, you will be able to see those videos. They will be on replay if you can't catch them live. But for those of you who love to sit down and have conversations with us live and joke and talk, we will be having 2 videos a week just dedicated to our subscribers. What's going to be really fun about that is it is going to be fun. They're going to be fun. They're going to be lighthearted. And we're going to do giveaways in each of those videos. Hats, shirts, halter tags, halters, gift cards. We're going to give away $1,000 gift card every single month to one subscriber that subscribes to both the Wild Tribe After Hours and the Wild Tribe Daily. So you can go to Tara Michelle Sanders. You can subscribe to that group for $9.99 a month. You can subscribe for $19.99 a month to this page. Now, what's going to be really cool is we're going to start having the horses come in, and we're going to evaluate everything, and we're going to start taking professional photos of everything and kind of getting them completely ready to come to the public. They will be available to the Wild Tribe After Hours for 1 day, for 24 hours before they go public. So I would appreciate if those of you who are looking to buy and you're really like, hey, there's a horse there that I really want, just know it's not going to be for a long time, but their professional photographs will go in the Wild Tribe After Hours when they're done being edited, and then the following day they'll go live to the public. So you will have an opportunity to shop what we bring in prior to the public seeing it. Horses are going to be available roughly 10 days. The horses that sell in that 10 days will be at a very base, what I think is low retail, just a wholesale type price. But listen, if they don't sell, we're going to start cataloging. Like, there's catalog dates. I have to have my horses for Navasota, Atala, and Billings in by the 5th. So I've got 3 horse sales that we actively participate at that we love. I mean, I'm telling you, the Stanleys do such a good job at Atala that I really want to commend them. We personally bought a horse last month. The horse was said in the ring that it was sound. The next morning when we went to load out, Mitch came out to make sure that Jacob had all his paperwork. This is Mitch Stanley. That horse limped to the trailer, and he said, hey, that horse was guaranteed, right? And Jacob said, it's all right. Mitch said, no, I make my sellers stand behind their word. They lunged the horse both directions. He was very clearly previously foundered. Mitch walked in the office, called the boy that sold him, told him, you need to come back here and pick up this horse. I will not be releasing the check for him. We left the horse there, and they wrote us a check back because the night before we had wired money for that horse, and we did not have to take him. And it's different. Like, if you go get one and like, oh, they've bumped their hip on the gate, like, that's on us. We buy lots and lots of loose horses. Now, here's the thing about sell barns. You guys need to, I just bumped my elbow. Whew. You guys need to understand that what Mitch is saying is, if you have a horse and you want to sell it and it's crippled, this is a sell barn. You can do that, but do not have the nerve to stand in the ring and call him sound, soundy, soundy, sound when he's not the next morning. So at places like Bowie and Atala and Navasota and Billings, you can still buy crippled horses. They're just sold on the loose. Bowie has a thing called the red light. you red light sell them, it means buyer beware. And some people, though, sell horses on the red light, not because the horse is a problem, but because they're so broke that they can't have their check held. When you guarantee a horse, or you call it sound, or you whatever, the sell barns generally hold your check and they mail them to you. Meaning, like, after the 48 hours or after the 5-day guarantee, every sell barn is different. You as a buyer need to read how long you have. They mail those checks after that day. As soon as that day hits, no guarantee you own it. So they mail the checks, but there's lots and lots of people that are in such a financial bind that they sell horses on the red light or on the loose, not because the horse can't be guaranteed, but because they are in such a financial bind, they need to sell the horse and walk in the office and get their check and go straight to the bank and cash it. And so please understand that we find some of the best horses in the world on the red light or whatever, because those horses, were sold by somebody who needed the money right now. So there's a lot to horse trading. It's an art. It's obviously an art. If I can take a $3,700 horse and get $10,800, if I can take a $1,600 horse and get $15,500, there is an art to the trade. There is an art to sales prepping. There is an art to tuning them up in the way they ride around. There is an art to presentation and wording. And I am just really focusing on becoming the best at what I do. And I'm grateful for everything I've learned from Hartmut, from my father. You know, when I was younger, I used to run around the sell barns with my dad to go look for pony horses, and that's where I met Tits and George. My very first horse came from Joe Rios, so I've been around the trading community a long time. I have been a person that listened to anything anybody had to say for a long time, and I've learned a lot, and I'm now 35, and I am starting to really delve into natural horsemanship. That was something that was available to me, but I just didn't know it as a child. So I know a lot about horses from interacting with them. I do some weird things that, like, if I see a horse that's super scared of people, I'll mouth them, like, and I've learned just from watching baby horses do it that that's like, hey, I'm no threat to you. So I have a lot of mannerisms when I interact with kill pin horses that help me kind of get by a horse somebody else would struggle with. And I've started really watching a lot of natural horsemanship people. There's lots of things I agree with, lots of things I don't love. And somewhere in the middle is just kind of what's working for me, and it's like my therapy. So right now I'm not interested in barrel racing. I'm not interested in team pinning or anything competitive. I'm interested in the communication and friendship and bond between human and animal. And it's been so therapeutic, and it's been so good for me, and it's just been something, and I've been on that for about 60 days, just really focused on that. So it's why I decided to keep Hot Rod, to not only help him have a better future, but just to prove to myself that you can take the most feral, rank, bad son of a bitch, and if you really take your time and communicate and build that bond, that you can make them a safe, good horse. So my TikTok is currently kind of dedicated to nonsense and him. So my TikTok is kind of cool. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying making that content, but I want for you guys to know from me to you, I'm just on a different journey, and I've laid down a lot of, you know, a lot of the things that I was so hurt by for so long. I've just kind of forfeited a lot of that, and I'm in a very different place. So what we're working on now is everybody here becoming a better horseman, really focusing on our natural horsemanship, just to do better by the horses by ourselves. And we would also love for our customers in the future, if they wanted to come for a weekend and get a hotel, come over, ride their horse. Maybe we can go out to that Tarrant Ranch. It's so beautiful. Maybe have one weekend a month that we can schedule. Hey, if you can make this work, on this Saturday we're all going trail riding. So if you would like to come to pick your horse up on this weekend, it's available to you. And we can spend a day here working with your horse, getting you, and then the next day go out and trail ride. you know, I think that I have started to focus on the bonds that I build. I think that I spent so long trying to be like such a stern business person, and that I stand by my bylaws. It's very important to read our buyer's guide. So if you do buy a horse from us, you do understand they're sold as is with no guarantee. You know that the knowledge that we know about them prior to coming here is very limited. So you are buying a horse with a limited history. That may not be the truth, but I'm going to do my best to evaluate it and decide if that's the truth or not. I've heard myself called a liar more than once because, oh, she just makes their history up. No, I don't. And there have been times that I've seen a horse's history, I have evaluated the horse and come to the conclusion that that's probably not right, but it's still my responsibility to send that horse with what I know about it. But I also want you to know that I think they overshot how broke it is, or, you know, something or other. But right now at this place in my life, I want to become a better person. And that is just where I am. It's where Jacob is. Jacob is really working on himself. I am so proud of him to have a 38-year-old man that buys slaughter cows and slaughter horses for a living, want to actively participate in the betterment and the growth spiritually and mentally is such a great thing. It's why we are such great partners. And that's why this business is fixing to have a lot of change, because we are focused on a place of money. Money is for sure always going to be everybody's focal point, because it's what's going to allow this facility to stay open, my staff to be paid. But what we want to do is attract and bring in the customer base that want to be a part of what we're doing, that want to buy horses from us, that want to continue to support us, that want to come here and ride their horse with us and then go trail ride and stay in touch. And we just want the bonds that we build around us with our customers to be as strong. And Jacob, I've had the same best friend for a long time. Jacob has some friends that he buys and stuff with. And, you know, the thing that we've noticed is our friendships and our connections within our industry have gotten stronger. And I'll tell you, I used to go to the sales and I used to hate horse traders, even though I was one, because I would see them run the bids for each other against the public. And I used to always feel like you guys as the public, it was always like horse traders versus the public. And I know that, and I look at things that way. And, you know, at the end of the day, now I've just grown up and just realized that what other people do isn't my business. And when I go to public auction, yes, I love a lot of the horse traders. I've grown to respect them. I've grown to respect their hustle. I've grown to love their wives and watch their children grow up over the last 10 years. And you can't help but feel a sense of loyalty or a sense of community when you've seen somebody for 10 years. I've seen Mitch Stanley for 10 years, and it took me that long to muster up the courage to apologize for my own actions that caused strife between us, because I've watched his family grow and his son get married and their baby be born. And at the end of the day, you realize no matter how much you hate someone or how volatile you've painted the picture in your mind of that person, that at the end of the day, I'm no better than my haters if I continue to paint that narrative. When I've watched his son grow to a man, I've watched his son now have a child, I've watched him be a great provider and father, and that person is not a monster. Our experience isn't 100% dictation of that person. We can all have bad experiences with certain humans. It doesn't make that human a volatile, horrible person. And people can grow and change and their hearts soften. I think age and experience does a lot for people. It definitely gets us a little longer in the tooth, a little thicker in the hips, but I think that we get a little softer in our heart and we start to want to spend the second half of our life. I'm 35, I'll be 36. So I want the next 35 years, which will probably be the last 35 of me being super active, because by 70 I'll want to probably slow down, maybe not, knowing me, to be peaceful. And I want to build with people that want to be a part of that and want to respect me and want to grow and want to have great relationships with their horses and do right by their horses. And I'm at a very different place in my life than I've ever been before, and I respect where I am, and I'm grateful. And I ask that as a whole, for those of you who follow me, to love me through this transition and to just enjoy the spiritual aspects on the Tara Michelle Sanders page, enjoy the horse aspects over here. I really hope that you guys will join the Wild Tribe After Hours and enjoy time with Jackie and I. Please, that group really funds a lot of the unsold horses. That gives me the freedom to do a lot of things. Sending Stars gives me a lot of freedom financially to be able to do things that Jacob otherwise couldn't afford or wouldn't afford to do. And I just hope that you guys enjoy it and that you see the difference. I think that if you followed me for 10 years, you'll find I'm at a place of peace. And I'm going to keep this peace. And no matter how much you stand on the mountain and holler and scream, I'm going to be like Draka Gates over here in my garden. Like Kevin is wilding out and Draka is over here in her garden. And that is now me. And I think that that is a great analogy for what's going on in my life. I don't care if you've hated me. I don't care what your experience before today was with me. I can't fix any of that. I can't change it. And I have honestly meditated and sincerely understand and I don't want to take away from other people's experiences. If you had a bad experience with me, I used to say, well, what did you do to spark that? Like, what did you do to me to get that reaction from me? Because that's the truth. I'm a reactive person. If you try to walk on me or take advantage of me, I'm going to throat punch you. Verbally, maybe physically. And I'm to the point in my life that, you know what? It doesn't matter what you did to me. I'm sorry that I was not in a place mentally or emotionally that I could allow you the freedom to express how you felt and meet you back with a peaceful response. I am sorry that I was raised in a manner that I didn't know how to express my emotions. I'm just now learning how to not knee-jerk reaction. Nobody ever taught me. I didn't know. So my reaction was, you want to walk on me, bitch? I'm going to body slam you. That was that was just the first 35 years of my life. I didn't know how to emotionally take a second and process what was going on to neutralize that negative energy. And for that, I'm sorry. I'm sure that you are doing the best that you can with what you have been taught in your life. Me too. So at this point, I completely forgive you. Hopefully people will accept that who I was before this transition of my energy is not the same moving forward. And as unproblematic as I choose to be, I have not always been unproblematic. I've always been the person that I've said, if you know my name in a negative manner and you try to drag me through the mud, I'm going to hold your head under that mud. I will get you and I both filthy. I am made of the mud. I taste like mud. I will hit us at rock bottom. You bash me, you talk about me, I'm going to body slam you. Like, you and I will be rolling in the mud together. And at this point in my life, you can throw as much mud as you want. I came up from the mud and I no longer go back there because I am just better than that. I'm better than that. I deserve better. And if that's where you want to waller and you want to sling mud on my name and you want to hold me accountable for my actions 7 years ago, that is your character. I'm going to release that to you. I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to let you harbor that unforgiveness. I'm going to let you harbor all of the mean things that you think about me. And I'm going to let you live in your character because that's who you are. I just don't live in that world anymore. I don't have time for it. So there's a lot of change coming. I hope that you all will support me, love me, and follow us through this transition of peace. I know that at the forefront of everybody's responsibility here are the horses. It's the only thing we care about. I had staff last year that really drained me over and over again, and I have such a good staff full of people full of peace and love and compassion and neutralizing negative energy and taking care of the horses and just focused on what they need to be focused on. And it has been such a healing place for me. These people here I will owe the rest of my life for just doing their jobs and keeping peace and constantly bringing higher vibration, because this place vibrates higher. I vibrate higher. We all know better. We all do better. It's fantastic. And the horses have never been happier. They've never looked better. Nothing on my property has ever flourished in the way that it's flourishing now, both financially and spiritually. And I am grateful, and I owe my current staff a lot of praise for their hard work, so that I have had the stress relieved from me long enough to find my way out of the mud. True story. And I love you guys for following me. Most of you have been here a decade. I hope you hear in my voice and just the somberness of my tone that I'm very serious when I say this is just such a good, it's like I'm putting to bed and mourning that strong, fearless bitch that I have been my whole life, that I was so proud of. And I will mourn parts of that, but it has been that person to harbor that much independence and just drive, and that was coming from a place of hate and anger, and I'm going to prove to you that I'm better than you, and I'm going to prove to you that you can't walk on top of me. And now I know I'm that person. And now I get to gut that bitch from the inside and rise above and be that same great business person with the same principles and values, but to be a better person for the people around me. And it's a really cool transition in life that I'm in, and I'm very grateful for it. So I'm proud of who I was in the moment, because it's all that I knew, and I did the best that I could, but now I know better, and it's time to do better. So I love you. Peace, love, light. Have a great day, and I look forward to showing you guys the amazing horses we have at this facility that are coming. Bye, you guys.